So a lot of people were wondering about the Hellblade 2 advertisements, when we were going to start seeing them, when Microsoft maybe would start pushing their game. I mean, after all, this was the game that they announced around, 5 years ago. So, yeah, 2019 at the Game Awards, they announced this and the Xbox Series X. And what's interesting is the game is coming out in May, so we're about a month and a half, not even away from the game releasing, and we haven't heard or seen anything from it. So today we started getting some news about it, and unfortunately, the thing confirmed that it's going to be a 30 frames per second game with dynamic resolution. Now, I know what you're thinking, this might be a negative video. Actually, no, I didn't expect this game to be 60 frames. I honestly didn't expect it to be, one of those games where we have an option. It's an Unreal Engine game using the newest Unreal Engine. So, yeah, it could be a little bit taxing and things like that. Is it going to be disappointing for some people? I feel like yes. I feel like, Microsoft, this will be the 5th current gen only game that they've released this entire generation. And 4 of the 5 were 30 frames per second, although Redfall did eventually get patched up to 60. So, again, according to this new preview, which, again, the previews are glowing. So, I mean, I think that's great news, to say the least. Xbox and Xbox owners could sure use a win about now. According to this new preview, which reports that the game won't offer any graphics mode and that the frame rate can only be increased on PC. The game's visual effects director, Mark Slater, reportedly told the site that the decision to make the experience feel more cinematic, similar to movies that run at 24 frames per second. This was something that we heard back in the day as well, from Sony and their developers when they did the Order 1886. So maybe it shouldn't come as that much of a surprise, because there's also going to be the borders on the game as well, so it won't be able to take up the full screen. It's more of a widescreen experience anyway. So another major first-party Xbox Series X and S game, Starfield, had its frame rate capped at 30 frames per second as well. Ninja Theory owner Microsoft announced Hellblade 2 alongside the Series X back in 2019. It also recently confirmed that the game will be released on May 21st, 2024, for Xbox Series X and S and PC. It's going to be a digital-only game and costs $50, and it will last as long as its predecessor, which took players about 8 hours to complete. Coinciding with the publication of new Hellblade 2 previews, Xbox has confirmed that the co-founder of Ninja Theory and the person that served as his chief creative director has also left the studio. So, we do see a lot of that kind of maybe negative stuff happening a little bit when it comes down to it. So, at the end of the day, they're going to be using dynamic resolution scaling on the Series X and S. While it is extremely disappointing, the 30 FPS cap seems to be the price to pay for the game's stunning visuals, although they said it will make the experience more cinematic. However, this may not be a huge issue for the game, given its slow and weighty gameplay. Speaking to IGN, Senua Saga Hellblade 2 also commented on the Unreal Engine 5, saying that it is amazing and that it has allowed the team to create a new narrative elements, new special effects, and more. The real-time nature of the lighting also made it possible for a lot of the special effects to be lit, making everything in the scene fit together much more nicely than in the past. The switch to Unreal Engine 5 also allowed for a more realistic rendering of physical props, outfits, and so on. So yeah, again, I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to be a little bit upset about this, but at the end of the day, honestly, I expected this 100% to be the case, for many reasons, but I think probably the main reason is that, it's a game that's going to take a lot of resources and things like that. I think, obviously Xbox Series X is a powerful console, but, again, if the developer has a vision, they're always going to be allowed to do their thing. And look, some people are going to compare it to PlayStation or whatever, and I get that. One thing I will give Sony credit for is the fact that they, have offered on all their first-party stuff, and options. I'm a little bit disappointed maybe that we don't get like a 40 frames per second option with like VRR TVs or whatever. Like Sony has done that on various games like Ratchet and Clank and things like that. So this is not like an open world game or anything. It is a linear type game, and so it is a little bit weird that maybe we aren't getting the visual fidelity that maybe we should expect in terms of the frame rate. But again, the game looks great. This could be the best looking game of the entire generation, and so I think maybe focus on the positive a little bit there, seeing as how Microsoft has had a little bit of run of bad luck, I would say, lately. I don't want to say that everything's been terrible, but hopefully this is a game that's going to stay exclusive and maybe change around some fortunes. People want to play this game. I think the game, for what it's worth, by the way, is going to turn out really great. The first one, I think, was an 88 rated game on Xbox. So, yeah, I definitely think that we have that situation where, hey, this game has an opportunity to maybe be in a Game of the Year running this year. And listen, I know people think that I'm just being negative to be negative about Xbox, but I legit think that this game has a chance to win Game of the Year. It deals with some heavy subject matter that tends to be like award-winning and stuff sometimes. So, at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think that there is a ton of games coming out that realistically stand much of a chance against this type of game from what we're seeing with the previews. So, hopefully we see this kind of break that streak, and see Microsoft maybe win one of these things. That could maybe change some things. So I know, listen, we're going to see a lot of PlayStation fans, talk down on it and things like that. But listen, having a 60 frames option does not necessarily guarantee that you're going to get 60 frames. I mean, we could just look at the Final Fantasy games recently, and we see that those games absolutely weren't running things well at 60 frames. I'm not sure how, and I know people are going to also think it's damage control, but I'm not sure how well a game with the borders like that would do in 60 frames anyway, given what they're trying to say. So maybe give the developer a little bit of benefit of the doubt on this one and try it out. I mean, it looks like it could be a really great game, and it could be the win that Microsoft needs at this particular point. I mean, everything has been so negative lately, so hopefully we see something that can change things around. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I really do want to see Xbox be successful and kind of change what he's trying to do, or whatever, what they're trying to do. So I'll never be on board with the whole Xboxes on a PlayStation or whatever, but I will say that I'm excited for the games themselves, and I'm looking forward to playing them. I know Hellblade looks incredible, so I can't wait to kind of load that up, see what all the fuss is about, maybe finally get some big time use out of my Series X. Would be awesome. So let me know what you guys think. I'll link this in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.